FLWOutdoors.com on scene here at Lake Sam Rayburn for stop number 3 of the FLW Tour, and we caught up with Phil Marks. You might remember Phil Marks put a dominating performance on this lake in October a couple years ago. What I can't get out of my mind was the last day of that tournament, 32 pounds, catching him on a big crankbait down there. Now, for guys in the tournament, folks at home, I want you to understand Phil's not in this event, so don't worry. He won't be out there putting the beat down on him with 32 pounds this week. But we know, Phil, you have a hand on the pulse of this whole area here, Toledo Bend and Rayburn. You know a lot about these fisheries, and so we thought we'd start kind of the countdown with you to kind of dial us in, give us the lay of the land here in March at Sam Rayburn. So far, what do you see?
Well, I think guys caught it a little bit at a tough time. I think we're in between moon phases. I think we're more post-spawn than spawn.
Okay.
And so I think it'll be a little more challenging than what most folks think.
Okay, that's kind of surprising to hear. I driving here, I thought this would be a sight fishing fest from the word go. 24/7, that's all these guys would do is look for beds. Why is that going to be an issue?
Well, I think it's going to be an issue because of clarity more than anything else. A couple things happened. We had some rain last Sunday, and that muddied up the back thirds of a lot of the creeks and pockets.
Okay.
Combined with pollen. The pine trees are putting a lot of pollen on the water, so that's another challenging deal. And then I just really think we're between those moon phases. I think a lot of them are done, and another wave hadn't moved up yet.
Now, I know you just came from a rayovac over at Toledo Bend, and sight fishing was pretty heavy over there. That was kind of the deal going on, and it's not far from there. So I'm looking at these two lakes saying, you know, Toledo Bend, Rayburn, could it be the same thing? You're saying not the same clarity here.
Well, not the same clarity. And Toledo and Rayburn, although they're 30, 40 miles apart, they behave completely different.
Okay.
Toledo's typically a little bit behind Rayburn. There was a big push here on Rayburn a couple weeks ago. But you're right. At Toledo, it would look like Jurassic Park in places. This big stuff cruising around everywhere.
For this week, I mean, you know, we don't want to say a whole lot about what might happen here, but if a guy's not going to sight fish, I mean, how do you see this tournament going down here this week?
Honestly, I think the winner is going to be fishing more mid depths. I'd say 5 to 12 foot, finding hard patches, rough patches in the grass, and some of those areas, and catching both pre-spawn and post-spawn fish.
Okay.
Have some coming, some going.
Okay. So I got to ask you this, since we used to ask the pros here, like, who would you pick in the tournament? And they, you know, I could always tell they were like, well, I picked myself and nobody else, of course. But being that you have no skin in the game, so to speak, other than some of your Strike King pros, I'm sure, give us a couple names you would be watching for here for fantasy fishing this week.
Honestly, I would look at your grinders, guys that can use a lot of techniques during the course of a day's fishing. Your David Dudley's, obviously, Greg Hackney. I think there's a couple guys that have some knowledge of this lake that are fishing the tour this year. Dustin Grice, for example. Okay. You know, he's a grinder, and he's going to be familiar with what happens when the lake's in kind of one of its little funks like it is right now. So I would stick with the guys that are good at grinding. I think you have to grind it out.
Okay. Sounds good. Also, we know that you're the brains behind a lot of the awesome baits that come out of Strike King. So give us the bait this week, Strike King bait, that's going to work the best here at Sam Rayburn.
Wow.
So many.
You know, I really think it's going to be something more finessey, you know, like a caffeine shad. Okay. I think shaky heads will play a part. Okay. Like I said, I don't think the weights are going to be real big. I'm going to make a prediction on the 2-day cut at about 30 pounds, 28 to 30.
Okay.
I think the winning weight will be, you know, low to mid-60s.
Okay.
So, but again, finesse stuff I think is going to be the real deal.
Okay. There you have it from Phil Marks here, Lake Sam Rayburn.